Hey everyone, it is BDC. Thanks for checking out this video and my channel. Today I'm doing a video from Empyrion Galactic Survival, and this video is a short showcase of a bunker base that I made. This one's actually the completed version of one that I had constructed on a live public server. I've got a template for a blank one that's up on the workshop as well that I'll link down in the description that this guy here is built from. So let's see, I just placed this down, and as you can tell, it's pretty big. It's a subterranean base. It's meant to be something where all base operations take place down below in the ground where it's nice and safe. Let me get a drill spawned in here. I use the drill debug, although it's probably not the most accurate thing for our video purposes, but nonetheless it'll work. Anywho, I just placed this down. As you can tell, there's a bunch of turrets, there's some solar banks, things like that. Let me go down into the ground here in Creative because I don't want to spend an hour doing this on video. So anywho, this is the HV entrance. So in your hover vessels, once you've got this dug out, you'd come down in through here and go into this door. This down here is the main garage slash, I don't know what you call it, hangar bay or whatever. And this is where you're going to park all your HVs and any SVs that are able to fit in here. This is the SV entrance right here. These are double doors. I want to say these are, okay, they're 10 by 9s. They're a little bit bigger than what I remember. So a pair of 10 by 9s, you can fit a fairly fat SV through those and get it parked up in there. Going through here, this is something I added that was not originally in the bunker template that I have up on Steam, and it's basically a walkway where you can get up to the top here, and you've got some upper level parking, for larger SVs. I think these are 9 by 9s. These grids, something like that, sound right? 9 by 9 grids for some larger ones, and then some. It looks like it did 4 by 4 for HVs over there. The other thing that's up here is there's some support for medical and O2 for anybody that's parking up here and need to re-up either motion sensor that kicks on the shutter doors, that sort of thing like that. This base has a full bank. I want to say I did 15 solar panels, so I hit the maximum on here. And after updating it, I also want to say that I did, let me check real quick here. I want to say this thing, yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 4,800 in solar capacitance. So it would take quite a while to get this thing fueled up, but I mean, it's a lot of battery. This thing could sit and run for quite a while, depending upon whatever other attachments you toss at this thing. So going back down into the structure, this is the lower hangar support area right here. I've got cargo controller, container controller rather. I still don't have that name down right. For fuel packs, O2 bottles, promethium, stuff like that, for powering ships, anything like that. CV, SV, and HV parts, cargo over there. So if you got a bunch of extra steel blocks, combat steel, thrusters, stuff like that. And then O2 station and standard medical thing. That's pretty much common throughout this base here. When I did this on a public server, I was on a hostile planet, so I built it around the harsher conditions. So that's why you'll see some of those types of things in here. Real quick, something also to note, you've got the lighting in here. So it is nice and bright even though it's dark out at night. I also extended this area out here and built a tier 2 repair bay block with the console. Going back in, let me turn the sun back on here. One other thing of note, I've got something I set up called a stone crusher, and this is kind of a throwback to my Space Engineers days. I had a mod that was a stone crusher that would take any additional stone that your drillers had kept before ejecting them all out, and you throw it into this machine. It was like a refinery, if you guys are familiar with that. So I did kind of a similar thing. I use a small constructor here, and you can toss your additional stone in here from any leftover from excavation, from drilling any of this stuff out, and you can crush it all up and you combine it, make carbon substrate, or you can do whatever you want with it. But that's just kind of a separate little area. It doesn't consume a ton of power. Anywho, going into the main hallway here, we have fuel and O2 storage. This doesn't necessarily have to be dug out, in a live game, but this is what it looks like. Otherwise, I think I even expanded this back out some. Yeah, so there's a crap ton of O2 tanks in here. Total capacity is 70,000. This is meant to be a main base of operations that can support ships and a lot of personnel and that kind of thing like that. Fuel capacity of 89,400. Both of these, along with this O2 station, they give you access to being able to directly dump your fuel and O2 in. One thing of note while I'm thinking about it, under equipment, wireless connection to make it further compliant with Alpha 9. So something like that on a base, it's really needed. If if you've got a base this size and you bring a vessel down and or a drill or something, and it's loaded to the max with a bunch of crap in it that you've drilled or gathered or whatever, it's kind of nice to be able to use that wireless connection to employ long-range logistics, so you don't have to move stuff back, forth. Get back to the main hallway here. Ventilation, lights, pretty simple, nothing to it. Now, granted, this is underground, so and I haven't drilled this out, so the colors are not going to be as bright bluish in here. There is kind of a blue hue that things look like when you're in creative, when you're underground. So it will look slightly different. It actually looks a little bit richer than this. Reddish walls, I don't know what you'd call this. That's not tile, it's something else, floor, and then whatever that is. Kitchen here on the left. 50 style cafe with the looks like I need to fix one texture here, with the black and white checkered floor, and everything bright red, redundant O2 station. 4 refrigerators. All of these refrigerators are labeled, by the way, and along with everything, actually. That's one thing I'm really big on, is labeling everything in here to make it easier to deal with stuff. 4 refrigerators and 1 food processor, pretty simple. You may have also noticed the double doors thing. I didn't do it here for some reason. I probably should update that, but doing double doors is kind of a big deal for me. It's a security thing. It's one more layer that somebody has to knock through to get into your stuff. In here we have an infirmary, and it looks like I have a bad texture there too. I've run into a few of these things lately. I must have redone something before I updated this and re-uploaded it. But anyway, this is supposed to be the all white marble, white tile type of thing. Infirmary supplies, cargo box, so anything that you craft with that food processor, which is for the infirmary, you can toss in there. Standard medical, O2, and then you've got your medical stations for all the particulars. So it's a full infirmary. Anything you need done, you can go in there and do it. And here we have the armory, and this is one I worked on for a little while to try and get it right. And again, I was on a public server doing this, so I was digging everything out by hand, and placing everything and moving everything around by hand. And excuse me, it was a bit of a arduous process. So. Cargo on the right, all for small arms type stuff. I categorize these things: shotguns, pistols, assault rifles. The second one, laser pistols, laser rifles with the aptly colored purple. Miniguns, plasma cannons, heavy weaponry. This is the guns and the ammunition, by the way. Rocket launchers and demo. And then personal tools, drills, multi-tools, things like that. It's a full armory. It'll hold everything you can build. O2 station. It's got its own separate constructor down here, armory constructor cargo, so you can do any of your construction for weaponry and anything else on its own system here, not have to worry about it. Armory construction volume of 80,000, so you can put a lot of crap in there. The one thing I did want to show off here, I think I have base power on, okay. There's just nothing in it, but Anyway, I have a motion sensor here that controls this repair station. And once you approach this 1x1 block right here, the repair station kicks on. That's a power saving thing, because these things, if I remember right, they take up something like 150 kilowatts. Yeah, all the time if they're left on. And so if you have a base with a couple of those in there, they're sucking a ton of power out of the base and you don't even know it. So that's one practice I've gotten into when I do any repair stations is I'll do a motion sensor right in front of them and have those things kick on and off. Real easy to set those up, by the way. A lot of tutorial videos out there for it. Armor mods container controller, so all those extra armor mods that you get from POIs, stuff in there. And there's your armor locker. Pretty simple. The one thing that was incompleted in here that was left open as an elective for people if they wanted to is a plant nursery. And down in here, it's obviously you'd have to dig this out, but basically it's a dedicated space where you can come in here and start digging and setting up a nursery if you want one in here. It's an elective. Now, some of you that are watching this, you probably have a question about what about the other constructors. So, real quick, in the template for this blueprint, the BDC's bunker, the other blueprint, whatever I named it, I can't remember what it is on the workshop. I do a kind of like a sarcophagus out of multiple layers of armored concrete, and I put essential blocks in there, including the core, which is separate from the other ones, and then several others. But I also do a subterranean constructor, and so basically it's meant to be a redundancy. So if for some reason the base gets partially trashed in PvP or something goes wrong, you never can tell in this game, and you're left without a constructor, then you still have the subterranean one. And so that's basically a thing for a fault tolerance type thing. Anything in this base that has ST in parentheses next to it, that means it's subterranean. So main base ammo cargo, that's turret ammo. That's the ammo container controller for all that. Same with any of the cargo boxes in here. Main base cargo, that's usually the guy that you would start with. That's a cargo box that's deep within layers and layers of armored concrete, and these things are only accessible via the control panel, by the way. Obviously you're not going to go dig yourself and go down in there. I'm a real fan of security, and try my best to secure stuff like that, and I like things that are accessible only by the faction or the the player that puts them down, that are buried in the ground. So just one more layer that somebody has to get through to excuse me, get to your stuff. So anywho, it's pretty simple. It is a full base. It's something where you have to manage power and O2 and that sort of thing like that. But for the most part, aside from still a couple of texture bugs that I just found, that was unbeknownst to me. I thought I'd corrected all those. It's basically it. It's complete. You can lay this thing down and then spend an hour drilling it all out and doing all that stuff. Anything else of note here? Solar panels are protected by armored glass, so that's a redundancy thing. Mostly cannons, some miniguns, and a couple of flak turrets, excuse me, to provide some anti-air. I'm not big really on base turrets, but it's a good thing to have them. I'm more of a towers guy. I like building towers and stuff like that. Their own separate types things. But anyways, I think that's it. I don't think there's anything else really to mention in here. Like I said, this is a large one. It's something that you would really have to have somebody on top of to keep track of fuel and O2 consumption and things like that. It's meant to support a whole faction of guys. It's the real deal. Let's see what else we got. Unlock level 20. Takes quite a bit to construct this. 4.5 hours in the factory. 16,500 stone dust. That's going to account for the armored concrete, and then some from the other turrets here for the rest from Mizascosium and a bunch of everything else. So hope you guys enjoyed this. I had a really good time building this thing. Like I said, this was constructed from the template of the blank bunker blueprint that I've got up on the workshop. This was done on a live server, and it was all done by hand over the course of, I think it was maybe 3 days or something like that, that I was hitting it, going out, gathering, coming back, drilling out, placing stuff down. No, it didn't work. Let me rework it, that kind of thing like that. And on that server, since I had placed so much work into the base, I wanted to save the template, and then later realized, hey, I could put this up on the workshop to save other people time. So there you have it. Anyways, hope you guys enjoyed this. I had a lot of fun building this, and I hope it helps some guys out there, save them some time. It's just a matter of gathering mats and what have you. Anyways, if you liked the video, hit that like button and subscribe if you would, please. I'm putting up new content all the time for Empyrion and some other games. And that's it. Hope you have a good one. Thank you for watching the video, and have a good day.